In part 1 of the awning renovation, we demoed the old awning that had fallen because of the rains. And if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out right now because it has a lot of detail of how we took it all down, prepped and sanded, and did all of the preparations for the build. Hi guys, welcome to ZussieMakesit. In this video, we're gonna rebuild the awning and we're gonna do it on a budget, DIY style. So let's get started. I'm doing the cuts for the awning and I'm gonna do them at an angle. The really cool thing about this machine is that you can put it at an angle however you want. I'm doing a 15 degree. Most of the awnings I saw on the tutorials are like 20 or even 45 degrees, but I'm doing 15 because the way that my awning on my house is very, like, it has to be straighter because I don't have enough height to make it more angled. So I already cut my two side ones, side cuts, which would be this one and this one over here, and then I'm gonna make a ledger board, and then I'm gonna have one going down and then the angle one to support the little roof, which is the awning. So right now what I'm gonna be doing, because I think the 2x4s, this is 2x4 material, this is great for the sides, but I don't want the structure to be so heavy, so I have my 2x4s on the sides, which are these two over here, but for the ones that are gonna go in the middle, I'm gonna try to cut the same angle here. So I'm gonna be cutting along lengthwise. That's just in my thoughts and my mom thinking. We both agreed that it's not gonna make the structure so heavy, and that's our whole point. By the way guys, I have a small favor to ask. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you like more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. I have so much more that I want to share with you. So I made a mistake when I was cutting the middle pieces for the structure because I cut them right along the side pieces at an angle. So what I needed to do there was cut the middle piece to the full length of the structure widthwise, and then cut them at an angle individually. As you can see there, I was cutting right in the middle when I had already made the angle cut, and one piece was shorter than the other one. Thankfully, I had more material and I was able to correct it, but that's just something to take into consideration when you're doing that cut. The whole length for my awning is 8 feet, and then I'm gonna have it 8 by 4 feet, so that's 48 inches. I'm also leaving plenty of space all around with an overhang of 5 inches all around, which is gonna eliminate any chance of water going into the structure if it rains. These here are cut at a 15 degree angle. As you can see, there's a slight inclination there, so that's 15 degrees. I've seen the videos, they've done it at 20 degrees, and I think that's kind of like the standard, but my thing is that my roof here, my awnings aren't like that sloped, so I think 15 degrees are gonna be good because then the leaves and the rain are gonna be able to come down, and I don't have that much space to slope it so much, because otherwise I would have like a really small space from the rail to the rooftop of the awning. So that's my whole thing, and as you can see, this one's not in that angle either. These are more like 15 degree angles, so that's what I'm replicating here, but I'm doing it with, this is redwood, so that's 15 degrees on this side. And then I put my back here, it's also a 2x4. Usually I saw videos and tutorials where they do 2x6s, but again, my structure and I think my house, it's a mobile home, I don't think it needs that much beef for the back, and I think it'll be great just with a 2x4. Before putting together the whole structure, I went back to where the porch was, and I put my piece of the wood that was going to be attached to the wall, and marked the spots where I had checked that we had some supports, some studs. So that's what I was doing right there, marking everything. That way I could just go back and pre-drill holes in the very middle of that ledger board. Okay guys, so as I was looking at the length of the screws, these are 4.5 inches, I think. And then I was looking at the width of the wall that I have. These are gonna be too long actually, and so I think I'm gonna have to go get some not as long, because if you can, I can tell you here, this is where the wall starts, and then you see there, this is already the trim, so it's gonna be too long. It's gonna go across the wall, the inside wall, and that's not gonna be good. So I think I might just need 3.5 inch screws. I'm gonna drill this right now into the wall, and carefully, and then see if it's too long. I bet you it's gonna be too long. Alrighty, so I did put the screw through the wall, and as you can see, it did hit just a tiny bit of the drywall on the inside of the house. But then I put in this this stick, and it hit up to here, so I marked it. So I'm making the comparison, and yep, it's gonna be a little bit long. I don't want to risk it because I don't want to go through my wall. So I'm gonna just get a smaller screw and go from there. So I think that's just some of the things that you have to think of. This is a mobile home, so I'm pretty sure that's why my studs are a little bit thinner on the outside. If it's a regular house, I bet you it's gonna be a 2x4, but in this case it's not. So you just have to be mindful of all the components of your structure and of your build, and I hope this helps you. As you can see guys, it was still raining and there was no time to waste. So I just put a piece of plastic on the floor and laid all my pieces that were already finished, and did a dry fit to make sure that all the pieces were making sense where I was putting them, and then made sure I marked where all the pieces had to go. We're DIYing here, but we're striving to make things like a pro. Alright guys, so I went to the Home Depot and I got the new lag screws. They're gonna be the 4-inch screws. I think these are gonna be more than enough. I can't go any longer. And I tried to see if the 3.5 were there, but I thought 4 is good. We'll just go with 4. And then I found these 3.5 coated screws. These guys are gonna go 3.5 inches, are gonna go into my structure. So I'll put like a few, maybe 3 for the 2x4s, and then these are gonna be the ones to go on the wall, on the siding, for the studs on the outside exterior wall. Maybe just 1 for each of these, because on top of that I'm going to be using these holders, these brackets that are going to go here. These are the ones that I painted black, so that's for how we're going to screw this. The other thing is I'm going to be using 6 lag screws all along that are going to go to attach to the wall. I think that's it. I'm super scared about this part because I need to get this done perfectly. I don't want to have a bunch of holes and redo, because this is the last, this is one shot that I have for doing all of this. I'm gonna be doing a line here along this beam, all along in the middle, because that's where I'm gonna be placing each of the lag screws, right in the middle, in each of the beam positions where I'm gonna screw them into the wall. That's it for right now. Wish me luck, and here we go. I ended up attaching only 2 of the 3.5 coated screws into each of the 2x4s that were on the sides, and then 1 of the 3.5 coated screw to the 1x2s. And I only used 2 of the brackets that I painted, and I put them towards the front of the structure where it was straight on each of the sides. Then we squared up everything and made sure that everything was completely tight and very secured. Alright guys, so structure is done. We made sure that everything was square, and unfortunately last minute I decided, because this here wasn't close enough, so I decided to take it off, and it ripped the wood. So now we have to clamp it and fix the wood there. Bummer. See there? It is square as can be. Good job. So we're excited. I only used the brackets here. I don't know if I'll be able to do the other ones, but I'll do it once the whole thing is installed, because I put the 3.5 screws through to the other beam from the back there. So we're gonna move it to the other side. Guys, I was running back to open this door, and I threw my phone. It fell on the floor and it busted one side. Thankfully I have the guard, because I put it with a case, but I'm looking at it right now, it's all busted. Anyways, this is the structure. We put it right here. I'm just setting it up so that I can attach it to the wall. I think this right here was another one of the hardest parts of the build, just lifting the whole structure and keeping it up while we were trying to put the lag screws into the studs. Thankfully my dad was there, and I also used a 2x4x8, but I still had to extend a little bit the piece of wood so that it could help us kind of like have arms to hold the whole thing. Once the lag screws were on, it was fine because it was able to stay lifted, but it still needed those angled supports. And that's what I did next. I had a piece of scrap wood that I just used to do my template, and I just kept going back and forth trying to check the best angle and the best spot where it would hold the structure lifted and be able to have the best support. So the structure is up, and this one is kind of like my jig to hold it, which is my helper. My dad did so much, and right now what I'm doing is going to be the angled post that goes and supports here. And then I'm cutting the angles. I already did that. This was a lot of work. The time lapse does not do things justice. I wish it could be. I'm going to try to slow it down, because we had to get my dad up here, the structure first here, and then me with the structure, set it down, put my ladder over there so that I could also go up and start putting the first lag screws, and my dad finish off over there. there was a lot of tension as with any of these things. And so now the next thing is on top of the support beams here. I'm gonna try to do the one over here, but in the spot where I need to put it, because of how it falls, this right here, the last beam, does not fall where there's a stud. So I need to go find some really hefty anchors so that I can put there a couple, and then I can do the angled cut there as well. And then I'm trying to do the angle cut in a way where if you come in up the steps, it's not gonna be like in anybody's head or face. So I did the angle as straight up as possible, and hopefully that's gonna work out. Then after that I need to put, so this is just the first step. Then I'm gonna have to put the rooftop part and flashing whatnot. So there you go. The measuring extravaganza continued because I was obsessed and I wanted every single thing to be absolutely perfect, and those crossbars that I had cut needed to go perfectly so that I could space everything evenly and just make sure that when I put the metal sheeting on top, everything would lay nicely flat and would have a great support. Okay, I'm almost out of battery right now, but I just wanted to show you, these are the crossbars that I just installed. I just dry fitted them, but I will be putting some oil on them and then putting the back on, and then the aluminum or galvanum is gonna go up afterwards. Alright, so it's about, I don't know, I think it's like 7. Is it 7? Yep, 7:25. And all I could do today was finish putting the crossbars right there, cross beams, and then I guess it wasn't so little what I did, but I put the vertical support, and then I just did the bottom part here and this. I still need to put the brace for the top part, but I think we're good. It's kind of like self-sustaining itself, and this here just needs to be braced right there. So we're nearing the completion of this awning, and I just want to show you what I did yesterday because it got late and I couldn't really show you what I was doing. And of course I'm working in super tight spaces and I can barely move here, so let me show you. So right here we have the vertical beam that I installed yesterday. This was super difficult for me to do because the stud where I was supposed to be able to attach this beam, the vertical one, is right here to the side, and my beam right here that goes on the top is moved in because of miscalculations in my I should have done this and thought about this better, but either way, so now I had to move this beam, and I could have actually left it a little bit more here, but then towards the left, but then this beam would have been, either way, it's off center, but I'm gonna leave it like that because I couldn't do it any other way. It still looks good because on this side is where you come in, you really don't notice, so I'm gonna take it as it is. So I did put some anchors here because there was no studs, and I put the other one is underneath this other beam. It was super super complicated. I might go into detail, I might not, I don't know, but it was one of those anchors that go open up like a butterfly. Let me see if I can find it in my sea of craziness here. Okay, well, I'll show you here. It's with these kind of anchors, and I'm sorry about my finger, I had black paint the other day. Here is the type of anchor that I did. This is the only one that I could figure that I could use there, because I bought some other ones at Harbor Freight, but I didn't feel like they were gonna be sturdy enough. And these, once you screw them in, they completely open up, like you see right here, and they are an anchor to the wall. So that's what I'm using there. Now the other beam here, I had to just calculate where it was gonna sit well in the angle, and then I added this 4-inch, which should be probably like a 5-inch. I'll try to see if I can find just individually like 4 or 2. Yeah, I just need 2, one for this side, one for the other one, that might go all the way through to the back, so that it has good bite into the wood. Then this one here, I added, as I said, this screw, and I'm gonna be doing this anchor. I painted it black. I might have to redo it because I see that the spray kind of like didn't do such a good job with that. And so, but I just want to anchor it because I know it's gonna be windy. It's super windy today. It rained yesterday. So many things happening. So I'm just gonna anchor it like this. I wish I could have found something that was more like a T. I couldn't find it, so this is gonna do the job. Maybe if I find another one later on, then I'll replace it, but for right now this is what's gonna work out. And then I'll do another one on the other side, and I'm going to do these screws, and then I'll paint the black, the tops black. So that's gonna be what I'm doing right now, and then I'm gonna try to finish everything, do the other side, and show you how I do it, at least. This side proved to be even more complicated than the other one when adding the anchors, because when I added the second anchor at the top, it would bring down the piece and leave a gap at the very top, so it didn't look right, and I had to figure it out. Everybody was trying to help, and finally we made it happen, but it took some time to get it sorted out. After that, it was time for the angled support to go on, and for that one I just copied the same angles that the other side had, so that we could replicate it and make sure that everything was nice and even and leveled. Okay guys, it's raining again. We just made it today to put in the support beam on this side, and now we put our plastic, which I hope it holds. I don't know, but we put a whole lot of clamps right here so that we wouldn't have like the water condensed here, which it's already doing. So we'll see what happens. Okay guys, so our attempt to enclose the water. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see this. Look at that. And there's another one. The one that I saw was the little one over there. It's like a little water pool. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me get this all the water out. Jeez, that's okay, let's do this. So today's the day that we're gonna be putting the metal corrugated sheets, metal sheets here on the awning, and I just want to show you what I'm going to be using and hope that this helps you if you're doing the same thing. Well, other than the corrugated metal sheets, you're going to need some of these roofing screws. They're self-drilling, and they are, because I'm going to be using metal to wood, these are metal to wood, and these are 1 inch because that's enough to sink into the wood that I have. And not only that, they have these washers, and the washers have like a little cushiony plastic that once you put them in there, it's gonna seal up that hole. So you have to put them with the right pressure so that you can just get the best seal. Then we have the butyl tape. Butyl tape is gonna be for in between the metal sheets. Once one sheet goes over the other one, we're gonna put the butyl tape all along that line. And I have some other stuff like the flashing and the foam for the underneath the flashing, and some silicone. Let me get the silicone. So this is the silicone. It was in the same section where I got my corrugated metal sheets, and these are the foam insulation metal. It seals in between the flashing and at the very top of the roof, the flashing and the corrugated metal sheets. And then you're gonna use this sealer. I'm gonna use it all along everywhere where there's seams, so that it can eliminate any water leakage. And it says it's not gonna crack, it cures quickly, and you can apply it in extreme weather, but I don't have, other than the showers at night, we're okay. And we have a really good day today. Let's get started. Okay, one more thing before I do the metal corrugated thing. I'm gonna be sealing here where the beam is, right here on the top, so that the water, if it comes through, hopefully it won't because we have the metal sheet, but still I want to have that seal between the wall and the metal and the wood beam. So I'll do that right now with this one. It's a interior exterior for doorways and molding, which I think it's gonna work okay. So it was a super tight space, as you can see here. I had to put the sealer there. I should have done that before. So I had to take off this beam again and then seal up there. But it was still really a tight space, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with the flashing and how that is all gonna work out. Alright, so I put the first one up. The only thing that I'm looking at is that my space down here, as I was telling you, is super tight. So my dad is saying do the flashing first, which I think makes sense. If you can see over there, I have my flashing, and it's gonna be overhanging 4 inches. I think that should be enough. I was gonna go buy another piece of the metal there for the flashing, but I think we're good. So on this side, I think I'm gonna be able to put the flashing where it's a little bit wider, but I do have another piece of flashing where I can add to this one. So I'll show you how it all goes. So I decided to, as I was telling you, put the flashing that I had. It's gonna be 4 inches coming out. I think that should be good. I'm gonna be putting the foam underneath, and then the metal sheet is gonna go underneath that foam. And then I sealed it up, as you can see all along here. And I stopped there because on this side I have a bigger opening where you can see the top right there. And I think I have another piece of flashing that I can use to extend that, and we'll see how it goes. So I left it like this. In the meantime, I might have to overlap the other one to go on top, and that way it'll be nice and secure and sealed. So once I had the flashing on, it was just a matter of start putting those gabaloon sheets, which was easy enough. I just started putting the foam underneath the flashing and then the metal roof. Okay, as you can see here, hopefully you can see, foam is right there, and now here at the seam where both roofs, metal roof, the sheet is connecting to the other one, I'm gonna put in right here in this line, I'm gonna put the butyl tape, so running all along right here on this line. I'm gonna run this all the way to the top as much as possible, and then I'm gonna seal it, and then do the next step. And the next step was to continue putting on the metal roof, repeating the steps of putting the foam underneath the flashing, then the roof, and then also the butyl tape if we were going to put the next piece of metal roof, and adding all of the screws. Alright, we are almost done. I just have to put on the screws and everything seems to be going nicely. The flashing is going to be coming up on this one side, maybe the last 2 feet. I need to figure out how to put like a nice flashing so that it goes all the way to the back, and everything is looking really nice, super sturdy, elegant, and just I'm so excited. Looks good, very classy. So believe it or not, I am finished. There's only one screw that I need to put in, but that's about it. So this is how it looks from the front. And the one screw that I need is on that corner over there. So I did the flashing, as you can see, and then I did the sealant right there and in the back. I could have, well, I cut here on this side, I cut it here, but I shouldn't have. I should have done a second dry fit, but it's okay. I just put some more sealant there, and then there's the foam underneath. I don't know if you're able to see it from here. Right there underneath the flashing, that prevents like debris from going up and getting accumulated there, the way that happened with the other awning that was here. And then we have just a drop here. It has about 5 inches from this piece of wood, from the, I think it's called the fascia. What I've heard is the fascia. And then it has 5 inches going out, and then we put the screws on the flat surfaces, every flat surface. And then when I did the metal sheet to the other one, I overlapped it, going where the prevailing winds go. So my winds come from out here, come this way. So the way that I installed it is I started that way, and then the next one would come over on top, and this one, the last one, came over on top here to cover here. So if the winds come this way, there's no way that there's gonna be a like the metal sheet is gonna like lift. Plus we have so many screws there, It's unbelievable. We did stitcher screws here, which are tinier, shorter, so that they wouldn't go all the way down. And then we did regular screws. I did 1 inch here on this ones where I have doubled the board, so it would go down this one, up down to here, down to here. The fascia ones, well, the overlapping ones, you can see right there, the little ones. And then I had my mounting beams. That's where I put the other screws. Right there you can see some screws sticking down, but that's fine. I'm looking to see, I think I'm gonna put another screw, a double one over here, just to, if there's any wind coming, it won't lift it. And I have the other one right there. So that's a lot of work. Took me a month. I didn't work every day because it was raining. I think it turned out really nice, elegant, and it's different from everything else that I've seen here in the park and with mobile homes as well. So I think it's a unique way of doing your awning, where it looks a little bit more sturdy. It's definitely more sturdy, and it has good supports. I gotta say that now I try to pull up to my house from this side just to see how it looks, because I am so happy and I think it looks so much better. And most importantly, it is solid and anchored correctly. I don't know why they make them like that, like the one that I demoed, because they do not last and they collapse inevitably. Stay tuned, because the back of the house also needs an awning that will do completely over, and at least 2 more awnings for the front of the house for the windows. As always, thanks so much for watching till the end. God bless you, and till next time.